Hi, welcome to Zero Point with me, Nina, and Hara Katsiki. We are coming to you today with a video all about the higher self, what the higher self is, how we work with it, what messages come through the higher self. Because this is an important time for us to tune into those messages and connect with that inner wisdom and intuition that we all have, that innate ability to connect with this higher vibrational aspect of us. So yay, thank you, Hara, for joining me again. I'm so excited to do this with you. It's always so beautiful to connect with you.
I'm so grateful to do this with you, and welcome everyone. This is a very exciting topic. We have so much to share. I don't know if we can fit in everything in 1 hour.
But no, we'll try. Yeah. So the higher self, Hara, what is your take? What's the higher self?
I will try to make it short. So I will go make it like an introduction before I give my own interpretation of it. So when I discovered this work, it started with Dolores Cannon and anyway, I dived deeper and deeper into it, and I decided to become a quantum healing practitioner. And before that, I had a session with someone else. And of course, my intention was to connect to my own higher self. And I got very frustrated because I thought that I'm not, somehow I had the feeling I was not able to connect.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because of what I'm going to share now. But it was very challenging for me. And I thought that I failed. And, anyway, it was very frustrating. And then it was also making it even more difficult for me to step into becoming a practitioner of assisting other people on how to connect to their own higher self. And because I want to do this work with integrity, just like you, I gave a task to myself. I said, if I don't really understand what I'm talking about, if I don't own this concept, if I'm not able to really master this connection within myself, I'm not going to offer myself in doing sessions to other people because I cannot give what I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So this became my my homework to understand what are we talking about. And on the way, I realized that there was so much misconception. There was a lot of misunderstanding of what the higher self is, and that's why I couldn't connect to what to that energy, to that consciousness. So I was really taken misled by the term even higher self, because higher self implies distance, separation, it implies hierarchy. And so I was looking for something outside of me. I was projecting, let's say, outwards, and of course I was not able to find something because there's so much out there. But to make the long story short, what I discovered was that what I was looking for was right here within me. I am the higher self. So, and the term higher self, I on the way, while like really understanding and working with it, having the experience, I realized what came to me as a realization is that what we call the higher self is actually the self, the true self, the pure self. It's the higher self. I would say for me, it's more like that term would make more sense if we would put a word in between these two words and make it the higher vibrational self. So it's the self, the part of us, the totality of our soul consciousness, the oversoul, the part of us that is not shadowed by the forgetfulness, by the traumas, by the negative self-talk or negative whatever there is, whatever darkness or negativity we have been accumulating, or even just living in a third-dimensional reality. So it's the part of us who vibrates in our core frequency, which is love, which is God. And so the highest frequency possible. So this is the high vibrational self. So that's what I would call the higher self, the high vibrational self, or the true self.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the highest vibrational aspect of us that can be embodied here on earth. It's the part of us, like you said. I mean, I was just nodding away to everything you were saying there because it was like, yep. It's the part of us without all the pain, without all the trauma, without all the fear and expectation, without all the conditioning, the amnesia. It knows us intrinsically. It loves us so deeply. It is us. Some people put a lot of pressure on connecting with their higher self because they feel they need to perform in some way, or that this is something outside of them, bigger than them, that is to be in some way, that they're not good enough to connect with that part of themselves. And all of that is just conditioning. So, I mean, this is our true fifth dimensional selves. A very, very powerful and potent side of who we really are. And when we begin to connect with that part of ourselves, we can start to begin to embody that part of ourselves. And when we do that, we can operate as that aspect of ourselves whilst we are here in this physical world, which is massively important right now.
This is what this ascension all about. This is the shift. This is the awakening. With higher levels of consciousness that we have access to. That it's our true nature, and bringing that into this experience.
And this is why this work is so important.
Yeah.
I felt it too when I first came into the work. When I had my first session, I realized that connection with my higher self had always been there, and I was way more connected than I realized, and I gave myself credit for. And when I just opened myself up to receiving that information, and I could hear that voice of my higher self, I thought, hey, she's really switched on. I wish I could be her all the time. and when you connect in this way, you find that those whispers become louder and louder and louder. And you start to realize that it's always there. It's always with you. The deeper you go into the work, the deeper you go into yourself and your own healing process. And you begin to operate as your higher self, and all those other sides of you start to dissipate. Sometimes takes a lot of work. Other times it's very easy. It just depends on how open you are and how trusting you are of yourself in the process. But yeah, it's always there. What were we going to touch on? There was other areas we were going to touch on here. I don't want to just keep rambling.
Oh, sure, it's going to flow naturally. I just want to make a comment on what you said. I resonate 1000%, of course, with everything you're sharing. I wanted to say one thing about what you just said, that the higher self is always there. And that's exactly what happened to me, which was so funny, mind-blowing, and so beautiful and empowering and everything. When I made my first conscious connection with this energy and realized that it's inside and everything. So it was, I was in a meditative state, relaxation, and I was at, my intention was to connect to the higher self, and then suddenly I hear there's like a voice within my head, but not like a vocal voice, just a thought that popped into my mind, right? Which because I was like, I want to connect to the higher self, and then this thought popped into my head very loud and clear and said, I am here. And then I was like, oh, but that's me. I am here. Yes, I am here. Where? Of course, I'm here. Where else could I be? I'm always here, right? Yeah, but then I was like, so I was just having this, let's say my left and right brain were having this internal discussion, the logic and then the intuitive mind, the higher mind. And I was like, oh, so I am the higher self. Yes, of course I am. Yes, of course you are. Of course I am the higher self. Who else would it be? Who else would be the higher self? Your higher self. You are that. And then I was like, oh, human reaction, like, and where have you been? Because I've been crying for so long. I was so frustrated. Like, but then it was the moment where I had really made that connection, and then I'm like, where have you been? the answer, it just disarmed me and put the stamp of I have no doubt. Why? Because the answer was, I have always been here. You are just not listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this simple answer was so profound. And I knew at that moment, I am really connecting to that God consciousness, this profundity, simplicity, empowerment, and all of that. So yeah. And from there it took on. And I want to add one more thing about let's say a tip. Let's say, what is the secret? How do you establish this connection, and how do you nourish this connection, and how do you make it grow? I think it's a word with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters, and it's called trust.
Yes.
And it's a muscle. And the more you work on that, the more you trust, it's just slowly getting stronger and stronger, like you said.
Yeah. And then the more you go into that vibration of trust, the trust morphs and shifts into knowing and gnosis, and then the need for validation of what you're experiencing, what you're learning from your higher self, just becomes a very, very natural dance with yourself, with your heart, with the divine. You said something earlier about I'm always here. Yes, that was it. The higher self is that part of you that's always telling you nice things about yourself. It's always telling you, go for it, do it. Why not? You can do it. It's that really, really positive part of yourself that has your back all the time.
And has no limits.
And it will, as I always say to my clients, it's like a really fluffy cricket bat. it will gently and lovingly share with you what you need to know, but it will share with you what you need to know. It will tell you the truth. It will tell you what you're ready for, and it will tell you the truth. And that again brings in that element of trust.
Absolutely. I want to take it a bit further because as you speak, I'm thinking at the same time, and of course I'm listening, and I want to just zoom out and see even a bigger picture of all of that. And my question would be, is it possible that this fancy term of my higher self and your higher self and his and her higher self is just God? It's just the creator.
So, well, yeah, I mean, often when we're doing these sessions, they always refer to themselves as we, as a collective.
Exactly. So it's not my higher self and your higher self. Yes,
Yeah.
you can compartmentalize it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is ultimately also another humanized explanation of what is the higher self. Ultimately, I'm feeling that there's this, consciousness we call God, Great Spirit, the Creator, Source, or whatever other term I'm using for.
Yeah, it's tapping into that voice of.
And there's one more thing also, which is also I always share this with my clients because I think it's very helpful. Okay, first of all, we are always connected to what we call the higher self, of course, because this is our true energy, true essence. But there's also like, okay, maybe I'm not consciously aware. So okay, I come to have a session or I work on myself and I make that connection. And then sometimes I am connected or sometimes I'm not connected. So it's like an on and people sometimes might think that it's a on and off. It's like, like black and white, this like extreme duality thing. And I think it's not like this. I think I'm confident that there are like these levels of connection, so it can be that sometimes we are, there are levels of depth of how deep you connect to that level. How much do you allow for this to come within your conscious awareness? It's not an on and off. It can be sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. Yeah.
And it's also very much connected to the heart as well. The heart, that's how we access this information, is through the heart. And it's that heart consciousness, that heart awareness, that 0 point space of pure oneness, pure love. And I always find when I get to that space, that's where everything dissolves. Everything that's not love just dissolves in that space. Everything, all of my conditioning, all of my fear, all of my pain always just dissolves when I'm there. And there's always just so much reassurance there. And I think that's when you mentioned earlier about what the higher self shares. I think the first thing that always comes to mind is the reassurance. The reassurance.
I think mostly.
Yeah. A lot of people want to know whether they're on the right path.
Yes.
Whether they're doing the right thing, whether they're, how they can help themselves heal physically, or should they be stepping from one career path, relationship, lifestyle change to another. And I think within all of those areas, the higher self brings you the reassurance that is required for you to know whether, yes, you are on the right path, or whether there's something else out there for you. And I think when we receive that information in this way, through this work, through the voice of our higher self coming through us, and we receive that verbally, auditory, and energetically, that's a holy trinity there. That's how we can fully integrate that information into our human selves, and operate from that space of knowing, and that ultimately helps us move forward in our lives. And it's a continual process of tapping in to that information. It's a tool. I'm always really touched by my clients and how brave they are. How brave they are to do this. Because it does take courage.
And I tell the same thing, yes. Mm-hmm. They sometimes don't even understand, but
yeah,
you can see.
I'm always very humbled by their bravery to really open themselves up. And we know there's layers to all of this, but when you have someone in front of you that is just open to really bring that part of themselves forward and is committed and devoted to that, it's a very beautiful, very, very humbling experience.
That's the space, I think, that people, where people can heal, where people healing can occur, that space of holding that honor and pure unconditional love without judgment, and really this honor for them that brings them to the place where they can, you mirror that to them, and then can potentially adapt this, or have a glimpse of maybe I am that.
I think when you think about people feeling safe with their practitioner, it allows for that intimacy. And I'm not talking about a sexual intimacy, I'm talking about into me I see. That deep part of yourself where you can open yourself up completely and fully and know that you are just going to be loved no matter what you say, no matter how bad it is, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done, you're just going to be met with love and safety. That allows people to open up even further, and it's a very, very humbling, very beautiful part of the work to be able to, we meet people just for the first time and we speak to them for a couple of hours and we go on these journeys with them, and afterwards you just kind of sit there and go, wow, amazing people who are willing to walk into that space and meet themselves in this way. It's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing.
It is sacred. That's how I see it. It's so sacred. It's like I think there is no deeper connection you can have in the physical level with someone. This it's a soul to soul connection. It's like the best connection you can have, because they are vulnerable and open up to, go within the deepest levels of being. It goes beyond the physical. It's just I think I use the word sacred. That's how I see it.
Me too. Absolutely. It is sacred. And it's very, very powerful and potent and beautiful and humbling. Because, I mean, yes, it's practitioner client, but there's that other aspect that's there, and it's the higher self, and it's the work. It's there with us, and it's the other Holy Trinity. We're working in that space, and being able to have that trust in each other in this human realm, but also having that trust in the work, knowing that the higher selves know that we're doing this together. They know that they know what the questions the clients brought. They know what the intention is. And at that point, we just have to soften ourselves and allow and know that it is in hand, and that they will meet us where we're at, and it will unfold as it is intended to and as it needs to. And it's this is just a beautiful dance that we do with this work.
Yeah, and ego has no place if you want to do this right.
No.
You have to let go of everything. I've seen this so many times with preconceived ideas I had of, I shouldn't do this, or I shouldn't do that, or maybe this might not work. No, you really have to remove yourself. You just become an instrument and a vessel. And you pass, and we have the intention for the highest good of all, and then just allow. And that's what I'm saying. I often say, I'm not doing anything, and they're just looking at me. I'm really not doing. I'm just becoming an instrument of God to bring through whatever is needed. And of course, when you do that, I think it's the most benevolent outcome, really.
Yeah.
For everybody as a practitioner, right? This is also something amazing. That is not one way. The healing is always both ways.
Absolutely.
How many times you received the answer you had in your, or you know?
Oh, absolutely. It can be profound, the symbiosis of the healing that can take place with this work. I mean, obviously the intention is always for the client, but the love that's returned to us as the practitioner, and the wisdom that's returned to us through, I mean, when we're doing this work, we're tapping into our higher selves as well. Our higher selves are helping guide these sessions. When we open up that quantum space, it's how we know how to guide these sessions is through our higher self working through us, and letting us know what questions to ask and where to take it. I've lost my train of thought completely.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. I think we have explained it in a beautiful way. How about we share the most common questions people come with? What are the most common questions people come with when they are, having a session with you and they want to connect? What do they want to know? What do they want to ask their higher self?
What's my purpose? Why am I here?
Yeah.
That's a big one, really big one. What does the spirit realm, what do my guides want me to know? Who are my guides? How do I connect further with my team, and how do I create open communication with my team? I think quite a lot of people want to know that.
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you say are the?
Yeah, the same. Mainly the mission, the purpose, and often about the guides and what I also receive very often is how can I amplify my intuitive skills, my psychic abilities, things like this. And what are the most common answers to the mission?
For the purpose, a lot of the time it is to just be yourself, be who you really are. Yes. Be who you really are.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. That's why you've been brought here. That's why you answered the call to come here. To bring your energy and your vibration to this planet at this time.
Yes, I get this. Oh my God! So most of the time, and it's very challenging, I think, for a human mind once you have start to awaken and oh my God, yeah, what's my mission? What's my purpose? Wonderful, and it's appropriate, of course, and important to ask these questions. And often this answer comes as a first level because it is the most important thing in order to raise your frequency. Because ultimately we have free will. We have chosen to come here. I don't believe in karma. Anyway, it's another big discussion, but there are no victims. Let's put it that way. Let's not get there to karma. But we are here, and what is this all about? Life is dance. Life is joy. I think God is just about love and expansion and joy. Of course, there are other things, but they are just the absence of that. So we are here to have fun, I think, ultimately, to enjoy at least, to be enjoyed, if you look at nature, it's just a magical, playful dance of ultimate, pure, childlike joy. So what we were discussing last time, but I think, so this is the most important, I think, thing that the Haryans want to bring through to us, because we have been contaminated with so much victimization, so much shame and guilt and fear. And so the first level, I think, is to let that go. And once you just be, you're not here to do. Yes, you can do, but first you have to allow yourself to be. And by that, you're raising your vibration. Then you can align with your mission. But you cannot, what my guides now, it's now personal because it doesn't matter, but I think it's resonant. What my guides have been telling me when I've been asking for my mission, and everything, they're telling me like, yes, okay, there are certain things, certain tasks you put upon yourself, but first of all, don't forget that you always have free will. You're not obligated to step into any of these things, first and foremost. And then, okay, you want to step into these things, you feel like you won't get into it, you want to do that, there's no judgment, it's up to you, it's your choice, there's no, you can choose what you want. But if you're not in a high vibration, if you're not enjoying the present moment, happy, free and everything, what you will try to accomplish, it's not going to be successful, beneficial, because you can only do that when you are in a high vibration.
Yeah. And so then it's looking at the parts of yourself that are blocking you from reaching that vibration. And that's what we explore within the sessions.
Yes.
The imprints, from wherever they come from, fragmenting aspects of us throughout the universe. we explore these aspects of ourselves and reintegrate these parts of ourselves, heal these parts of ourselves through the acknowledgement of where these blockages, where these challenges, where the root of them are. And when you can start calling those parts of yourself back in, then you can come more into wholeness, and then you're able to step forward on that path much easier.
When I get these simple messages and profound and really deep at the same time, I know that I'm connecting to that level of consciousness. And often really, like, it's so common. The messages are so simple. It's like, do what you love. Can you do what you love? And you know, it's overwhelming. It's like, seriously, or can I do that? It's too good to be true. It's like, you know, it's like, oh, how do I do that?
Yeah.
I, you know, I get these questions too. I guess you too. Like, how do I know what do I want?
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah.
I think sometimes people struggle to accept the truth of who they are sometimes. And these sessions can really show us the truth of who we are. And sometimes it is really, really, really powerful. And, you know, after the sessions, the human mind comes back in and it can question and it can doubt. Yes, exactly. The truth of who we are. And I think that's why you know, after session care is really important for this work as well, because the integration process is really, really important. The listening to the session, the hearing that part of yourself speak through your voice. And, you know, people say things like, it didn't feel like I was really out, or I was making it up, but all these things start coming through, all this, you know, conditioning starts coming through. I always just say to them, you know, you stop and listen to the session, go back in there. It's a living transmission. Go back in there and listen with an open heart, and don't listen with your mind, listen with your heart, and allow for those messages to come in. And, you know, they came through you. They're real. And yeah, I've had some clients who've really struggled with that aspect of the truth of who they are and what they're here to do. Sometimes it's really big. That can sort of rabbit in headlights moment of, oh gosh, okay. But yeah, it's an opportunity to open up even further to ourselves and to the truth. Yeah.
And other common messages, perhaps, even if it's not asked by the clients, do you have any like common messages that people might receive, or like an overall, you know, like
I think it's always connected to stepping into love, stepping into the heart, releasing the fear. I think very, very commonly these messages are coming through now, almost every single session. It really is that choice between love and fear. And I think a huge number of my messages that come through the higher self are about finding ways to release that fear, and living your truth, stepping up. And I did a session a couple of weekends ago, and the final message that came through for all of humanity was about just that. And it's a common thread, but the way this one was said in a certain way that really, really resonated deeply. They said that, you know, there is no need to fear anywhere. There's no fear. There's no need to fear anywhere in the universe, even up here where the higher realms where they're speaking from is, there's nothing to fear there. And there's nothing to fear down here in this reality either. And when you release that fear, the only thing that there is left is love. And when you get there, there's no need for anyone to have any control over any of it, because it's just love. It's just pure love. So that the control goes at that point. And I think that was a very powerful message to come through. But I think that's often different variations, different aspects of consciousness come through and share similar things about that. What would you say was a common message?
Common messages are often about returning to self, in love, meaning like taking care of yourself, loving yourself, giving yourself what you need, not expect it from other people, like really like self-care, self-love, which is huge. But really, you know, going deep into that and into experiencing it as an idea, feeling that, being in that space. And often closing messages are very, very comforting, very, very comforting and very tender. You're doing great. You're doing a good job. Everything is fine. Don't worry. Everything will work out. All is good. All is well. Enjoy your life. Have fun. Just really like, you know, like comforting, and you are being taken care of, and you are loved, and you know, you're protected. Just, you know, just a general overall
Safety.
Yeah, and upliftment. You're doing a good job. Yeah.
It's so beautiful to hear our clients speak like that to themselves. Because we can be sitting there hearing their story and everything they've gone through, and you know their struggles and why they've come to the session, and what they want to learn about themselves. And when you hear this level of love and reassurance that are essentially the clients are giving to themselves in that moment, it's a very, very beautiful thing. The reassurance and the self-acceptance as well, the acceptance of where they are in their life, their path, and the homework, the what needs to be done moving forward as well, which is often a common thing that's given with the energetic work that's involved in the session. The practical guidance that comes from the higher self as well, things that they can do to implement everything they've learned about themselves in the session. Often meditation. Every session, meditation.
Also very common.
Sorry, what did you say?
Connection to
nature. Yes, all the time. Connect to nature. Yeah. I've been going outside at 4 o'clock every morning recently to listen to that cacophony of birds in the morning. You know, when the first bird wakes up, I hear it because I'm usually awake these days. And I'll go outside and I'll just sit with them and I'll listen to that orchestra of beautiful bird song, and the joy that's within that moment. And you go out and you walk in the morning dew. I go out in my bare feet and I walk in the morning dew and I put some of it on my face and I sit and I listen to that bird song, and it is my favorite part of the day right now, to go and experience nature in that way and really envelop myself within it, because we are nature. We are this beautiful, beautiful planet, and she's calling for us to connect with her again. She's crying out for that, and we are too. We are too.
I want to share what happened this morning, because it's just what you're sharing. It's so funny. I make my coffee, I sit in the balcony, and I start to be in my everyday mind, in my analytical mind, and just thinking, and I had some, there are some things like always for everyone going on in their life. So I was just like thinking, and then, yeah, I'm getting stressed I just woke up, I just had coffee, and then suddenly I'm looking at my coffee, and there's a big heart that shaped by, from the foam, very, very perfect, very beautiful, very big. And so it made me stop thinking as I'm observing now this heart. And as I stop thinking, then I start to listen, and then I hear, I guess, let's say, my higher self saying to me, and actually bringing this through my voice. So I started saying without me wanting to say it, not initiating it. Listen to the birds. And I'm saying this and I'm hearing it, it comes through me, and I'm hearing, listen to the birds, listen to the trees, listen to the clouds, listen to the wind, listen to the, to the soil. And I'm like, and then suddenly all these thoughts, because they make noise, then they all stopped. And then I was able to listen to the magnificent orchestra of all these birds around him singing. And I was not able to listen to them because I was like, arr.
Yeah.
So it was just so magic.
And then you do it. It's like, oh, there it is. I was walking in the woods the other day, and I was so in tune with everything, so in tune with nature, and every step was so conscious. And so I was really grounding my energy. And then I looked up, and I could see all the leaves. They were all waving at me. They were like, hi! The way the wind was blowing, it was just, they were all just going like that in different ways, and stopping and then starting again. And it's like, hi! We're all here! We're all alive! It's beautiful to have those moments. And when you get the spirit animal messages as well, the nature speaks to you, and the messages they bring us. Sometimes it's intuitive, sometimes we can go and look up what they mean, the totems. But you start to have this ongoing communication with nature, and it's very profound, very beautiful, and yeah.
I have a story on that.
Yeah, go for it.
All about stories today. So I'm taking a route once per month to go to work in a specific place, and so there's one crossroad where there's a light. So and it's a big one, so we always stop there with the car. And so so anyway, there's a tree, a big, very actually massive, ancient tree that's so huge and so gorgeous. And so, because I've been in that route for like, I don't know, 1-2 years, so I have started to establish a connection with the tree, because in the beginning I was just looking at it, then I started to talk to it. And so I've been doing this for quite some time. Every time I would stop and I would greet it and say, hi, oh my God, you look gorgeous today. Sometimes it's winter, and then it's spring and summer, so it's always like different and everything. And then one day, I'm stressed out with something that is occurring in my life. So I completely ignore the tree, right? And I'm in the taxi. We have stopped in that light, and I haven't I don't even know where I am because I'm so much in my head, thinking, oh, and suddenly I hear, hello, hello, hello. I'm like, in my mind, like, of course, like intuitively, clairaudient. And I'm like, who's calling me? I feel the pull. Someone is calling. Someone is trying to capture my attention. And I turn, and it's the tree saying to me, hey, you didn't say hi today. You didn't notice.
That's
And
beautiful.
I'm just blown away.
Oh.
I'm just, oh my God, you're so right. Sorry. I'm just, it's okay. I just,
So lovely making tree friends, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I have a few around here that really, when they shift through the seasons, you see, and then you see their leaves starting to come out, and they're a really beautiful space right now because the leaves have very recently come out, so they're really green. And when I go and visit them now, it's just like, oh, you're so lovely. And the thing I've been doing recently with my tree friends is sticking my forehead on them, just like going up to them and holding them and sticking my forehead on them and just breathing. And it's very, very lovely and very grounding. It's a new practice that I seem to be doing with them. But they hold so much healing and wisdom, and if you have something that you need to release, if you have something you need to process, you go and sit with them and they will hold you through that. They've been standing there for so long. They're unshakable, and they will hold you in those moments. It's a lovely connection to have, and the more we lean into that, the deeper the connection gets. And it's back to the heart, our hearts, back to Gaia's heart. It's
I'm learning permaculture. At the moment, I'm doing workshops, and I'm also going to a garden to do volunteer work once per week outside Berlin. So I'm really connecting with earth, hands-on, really, like all the levels. And of course, we learn how to sow seeds into the soil, into the ground. Which I had never done before. I know for some people it would be like shocking, but I never had the chance. I grew up in the city, even though I enjoy the outdoors, but I adore the outdoors. So anyway, I was faced with this, act of actually taking the seeds and sowing them into the soil. And it was an incredible divine experience. Divine, I use the word divine because it felt divine. I felt godlike when I felt the energy, the life force energy at that moment running through me, and just by placing the seed, and it's so tender, it's so pure. You need to have so much. I felt like I need to care for this little seed so much. It's just so incredibly beautiful, and it gave me another deeper, even connection to Earth, to who we are, and all of these things. It was another level of awakening to this connection.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Another thing I've been doing recently is whenever I've been feeling a level of overwhelm, or like things are getting too much, or I've just got too much on my plate, I've been felt really called to go outside and pull up the weeds. It's a really nice practice. Pull up the weeds, take all the weeds out, clear that path. And it's yeah, that's been good. But yeah, I absolutely see what you're saying about that divine process of planting and germination and growth, and the divinity is within it. You do that process and it just happens. It happens regardless of us. It happens, and it's really that beautiful spark of
Creation.
yeah,
Life. Yeah. I've pulled up some quotes for us today from, because sometimes I'm I'm just writing them down, some quotes from the higher self.
yeah.
So I want to share them with us. Some we have touched upon, of course. So there's one that says this, that the higher self said to the person who was having the session: the sacred gateway to God is your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And another one is from another session. The higher self said, love is not heavy. It is not love that weights you down. It is the walls that you have built around your heart, stopping you from experiencing what love actually is. Love is weightless. Love is immense. Love never ends. No, love is never ending.
So beautiful.
Yes. And I think I have one more, and that was very, very touching, and it was so poetic. It came at the end. We didn't ask for a closing message. It just came through.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a beautiful lady, and the higher self said, "I love you. Please stand in front of the mirror every day and say, 'I love you,' many times until you believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Please listen. Listen to yourself. Listen to me in the future. Listen more. You are a child of God. You always have been. You are protected by strong forces. Your energy, um, you carry a lot of energy inside of you, and now it is time to let that energy flow. Discover your strengths, discover your abilities, and use them for your own good. You will be guided as long as you trust. You know this. You are always guided and you are always protected. Go now on your journey and make this planet a beautiful place. You will be provided with everything that you need. Everything flows to you with ease and joy and glory. I love you, your higher self. And I was just speechless. Oh my God.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
I have a couple I can share.
Yes.
This one was actually identified themselves as Yeshua. And he said, I asked if there was any messages that wanted to come through for us today. And he said, remember, you are never alone. You are never alone. Every single part of you, even all that you call flaws, you are so loved. You are so loved. The process of becoming the divine in flesh is recognizing the love within. That you are a process of love. You are a mirror of love. You are a reflection of God. God is himself, herself. You are a divine seed. Walk this earth, owning that truth. That is the real process of ascension. That's one of my faves.
Yes, this word again, divine seed.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
Mm.
I needed to hear it.
It stuck with me, that one. Really, really stuck with me. The divine seed part. And we were just talking about the seeds going in the ground. Of course, it's all connected.
That's what I was about to say. That's, yeah, beautifully entangled.
Yeah. So lovely.
Yeah.
So lovely. Is there anything else we should share today? Anything else that wants to come through? Or I could speak to you for ages.
Thank you. That's why we have
Yeah.
constantly we have to keep on doing videos.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe we want to share a message, a closing message. Yeah.
I don't feel there's anything coming through me at the moment. I think I've covered everything I want to share. Yeah.
So yeah, I think we really shared what was most important and what was needed, I guess, and appropriate. I'm reading here. I have opened one more little paragraph which had come through me. So maybe I share that, and that can be our closing message from both of us. Because I've been doing workshops on helping people to connect to the higher self, channel the higher self. So one day I just asked for a message for the group, for people from my own higher self. So the message that came through is, I want you to know that you are beautiful. You are pure. You are boundless. You are love, and love will always find you. You are that, and there is nothing you need to do to become that. Just remember. You are here for a reason, so let us guide you. Let us show you the way. All you need to do is trust. Trust yourself. Trust your inner wisdom. Trust the plan. Trust that we are here with you always. There's no need to figure this out. Just be in joy, love, laughter. You are free, so be it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you so
well,
much.
this has just been so lovely today. This has been great. Thank you again for sharing the space with me. It's such an honor to work with you in this way. And I think it's so lovely to dive deep into these really, really quantum conversations and share that, because I mean, we have these types of conversations all the time because we're quantum healers, but to be able to share that with the viewers and see the energy that's exchanged when we do this, It's a beautiful thing, and it's always just such an honor to connect with you, Hara. Yeah, I see that sort of spark of resonance and love within you every time I connect with you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's flawless and natural and just inspiring and beautiful. I hope everyone watching enjoyed and took something out of it. We are welcoming comments, ideas, anything you want to share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Hara, do you want to share where people can find you?
Sure. I can share my website. It's called qhhc.cloud. And there is everything you might need from me. And yours?
You can find me at raphaelasoulsessions.com. That's where all of my information and links are. And we'll put everything in the description so people can find us.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Until the next one.
See you guys. Bye-bye.